part two. I really didn't want to bang you all over the head with a part two, but there's something very important that I want to talk about, and I want to let rock because I think it would be unfair to say there was only negative things in this interview. I want to talk about winning it all, right? I think that's the most important part of this whole conversation. Are we in it to win it all? And the answer is yes. A lot of things have to fall together and come right to win it all. Like everything fell in place for the Lakers to just make a mockery of the NBA Finals right now. I never believed in this Lakers team. Never. I thought the components added around the two superstars was trash. I still do. And I still think, you know, everything had to fall into place. That if it wasn't for COVID, I don't see how it all falls into place. You know, you you can't have the Clippers caged. You can't have them enclosed in a bubble. You know, those are some wild boys over there. And I see that they're breaking down too. And shout out to all the people who were really thinking like, oh, we're gonna trade um Spencer Dinwiddie for Patrick Beverly. Must be out your mind. But the important part of this conversation is, and what I want to get back to and just touch on really, really quick is how this is going to work. And I'll let them break that
Is it?
Most definitely. Like like he said, when you look at somebody and you know that they can make shots the same way you can or better. The best part about being in this position of power is like, and being a leader of a team where people look up at you is like, I enjoy getting out the way and letting others flourish and being a decoy. I really enjoy knowing that me standing in this corner may give Kai or Karis or
he does, but he doesn't really. He he's saying the right things. He's being a leader, right here. And I hope this isn't because I'm such a Kevin Durant fan or because I'm not really. I am and I'm not. Um, I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, and I just love hearing him saying it like this because it it puts it's such good food for Kyrie and it's good food for Karras and Dinwiddie too.
Torian or, Joe Harris, just a
Oh, Torian.
little bit more space to do their thing. So standing out the way and taking myself out to play. I learned this a lot in Golden State. Sometimes the best thing for you to do is just get out the way. You know what I mean? Especially both.
He's really talking to Kyrie. It's this. Listen, this is phenomenal leadership. I love it. Kevin,
Sides of the floor, you're not needed at some points. And I feel like late in the games, it may be some of those situations where it's like, okay, go sit in the corner and drag this 6'9", 7'4" wingspan dude out here with you so they can't give me a good contest in the paint.
and that's such a. It brings tears to my eyes. Do you understand what the Nets are gonna do to people? The thing that happens to Karis LeVert now, like when Karis LeVert dribble drives, these 6'9" wings don't have to be anywhere but where they where where they are supposed to be, clogging the lane for guys like Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert. The Nets play with space because they have Joe Harris, you know, they have 3-point shooting in Torian Prince. So there's floor spaces on the Nets. Um, but the magic is is really going to happen when you have the pressure of Kevin Durant on the court. Kevin Durant's gravity on defensive players trying to stop him alone is going to make it so easy for Karis LeVert. That's why when people say they want Bradley Beal, no, you don't. You don't want another dude like you. Like this whole these these dudes did two halves of a podcast talk for 2 whole hours and never said the word defense once. Never talked about the kind of defense that they're gonna have to play. But hey, these are these are the most supreme bucket getters ever. And this is why everybody has to be doing their jobs. Sean Marks needs to be listening to this and not worried about what Kyrie said about LeBron. Fuck LeBron. We got to play them. They're the enemy. I mean that to the heart. I know some of you more progressive types might think that's a negative way to look at your opponent. No, fuck LeBron. I don't. That should organizationally, that part of the interview shouldn't matter to the Nets at all. The part of the interview that needs to matter to the Nets is how Kyrie feels like, listen, my job is to coach too. No, your job is to do your job, which is to be the most magnificent point guard talent ever. I wish, listen, Kyrie's dad should be selling books on how to build the greatest point guard ever. Everybody would buy that shit, and people would follow him like the guru because of what he created with Kyrie Irving. And honestly, um, you know, these people know basketball, but their egos and their ability makes them see it from a skewed perspective, which is why you need a coach, which is why you need Sean Marks to realize we need defenders on this team. You add defenders, you don't need like I know you guys always want me to talk about Anthony Davis. Look, I'm so happy they're going to win a championship because they're not that's going to make them not able to at least I would think. I haven't heard differently. But we would all think that Anthony Davis is definitely not going anywhere because he's about to win a championship with the Lakers. An easy one, too. But if you want to slap those dudes, if you want to beat those dudes, you need some big, hairy, grumpy defenders. Because Kyrie and KD alone, listen, when I calculate this in my mind, I always calculate it for Kyrie's injuries. I think we're going to have 2 years of no injuries with Kevin Durant. He's that type of player. That's his what his history tells us. At worst, he'll get a knock here and there, and they'll protect him. But I expect him to play and play a lot. Kyrie, I don't even put him in the formula. I'm saying to myself, with Kevin Durant on the floor, with a floor spacer like Joe Harris, with the ability to dribble penetrate on two sides of the floor, having Kevin Durant being a mid range and 3 point shot from 3 point from beyond 3 point land. He's a threat. That's that type level of pressure, even without Kyrie Irving, isn't is just it's too much. These lobs that don't get finished for Jared Allen is not going to happen in the Kevin Durant era because that other big that makes it impossible for the lob to finish is going to have to chase KD and help somebody who's already on KD. This offense is going to be legendary. And it doesn't have to have Kyrie in it either. Because I'm calculating for him to be hurt. I don't believe I hear him talk about collaboration. I hear him talk about service, but I don't see him I don't hear him talking about putting collaboration and service in practice. He believes service is him being the leader. That's not a great mindset. I'm telling you, the best part of this interview is the fact that Kevin Durant is telling Kyrie the things he needs to hear.
So I think we're gonna have situations where we both gonna have to play the side, and you never know when those situations are gonna come up. But I think we're both prepared to like, hey, Kai, go do your thing. Kay, go do you.
That 1-3 pick and roll is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy if y'all do the big small joint too. Like that's gonna mix a lot of shit up. I know fans everywhere, whether they love, hate y'all, whatever.
That 1-3 pick and roll is going to be crazy. But that's not the only thing they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to be able to have guys who could just out athletic you. When things kind of break down and maybe, with Kyrie and KD, you're not going to have offensive droughts. You're just going to have it where there's just going to be times where there's no flow, where it's too much ISO, where it's too much kind of like I'm getting mines tonight. And so the offense will stagnate because of that. And you're going to need defenders, or some teams will beat you, on a humble sometimes.
I heard something, and it was Maya Angelou. She said that. She said, one person standing on the word of God is the majority, and I'm always going to speak on what's right.
He doesn't understand what that means. And it's going to become clear. And it's one of my fears in like how this team could go wrong. One person standing on the word of God does not mean that you don't have to listen to anybody because you believe you're standing on the word of God.
And I think that comes at, a price where
there's no price for it, Kyrie. Just standing on the word of God, you could do that for free.
all of those things that they dress me up as fall off at the wayside, of who I truly am. And I don't think it's fair for me to bring that type of energy home and consider it, meaning people talking about me or people addressing me as, hey, what is he doing? He's not smart enough. There was something that Kendrick said. He was like, yo, if you put his brain in a bird, it's going to fly backwards, And we have, people like that I don't have a problem with at all. That's his opinion, nor do I feel disrespected by anything like that. But
you feel plenty disrespected. Like, why be false about it? It was a disrespectful thing to say. It was banter. Listen, I please continue.
what I would say to that is I'm come to a place in my life where I serve myself and I serve others, but also I take the criticism serious from people I respect.
I don't respect you, Kendrick Perkins. You couldn't possibly have anything good to say. And no one else who is not a great basketball player could possibly know what is wrong or can discern whether or not you said something wrong. Only another person who can who can average 30 and 10 in the NBA finals can judge you.
People that are on a similar alignment and wavelength and frequency as I am. I can't take in everybody's burdens and problems.
Famous people. And